Welcome back and thank you for joining us this Friday morning on our Power Breakfast interview. We want to look at the Gatundu by-election scheduled for 7th of next month. The by-election...
this month.
Oh yeah, it's already of August 1st. A very important day, as you know, in history. I should remember this. But yes, so we want to look at the Gatundu by-election, which is scheduled for Thursday next week. We have in the studio one of the candidates, the TNA's nominee candidate, Moses Kiari Kuria. We're still waiting for the other candidate on the New Democrats Party, Joachim Kimere, who was... Kamere, rather, who has not arrived yet. We hope he can join us in a short while. But meanwhile, Moses,
yes,
you're back here. You were here about a month or so ago.
Yep.
That time we were only, the rest hadn't begun officially.
Yep.
How is it going so far, a couple of days before the election?
Well, one day at a time. Just getting out there and doing some work and working hard.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been rigorous, I should say.
Right.
And very. Yeah,
are the prospects looking good? Of course, you will not say they're bad.
Yeah, you know.
Hear from you.
Yeah, I've got significant number of supporters. And a few people who don't support me. That's the nature of campaigning.
Okay, let's look at the nut of it. You were on nomination on the TNA ticket. It was very controversial. You were opposed. The party, you know, they had to have a tribunal to resolve your nomination. What was the issue here?
Well, you know, political contests are contentious. That's why they are contests in the first place. And sometimes people accept the outcome, sometimes people not accept the outcome. So that's normal, that's fair, that's legitimate. The most important thing is that political systems, whether they be parties or national systems, should provide for mechanisms for dispute resolutions. In my case, this went to the tribunal of the party, and unknown to many people, this went to the IABC also. After the TNA, there was an appeal at the IABC.
Yes.
And you know, in both cases, the petition was dismissed, and it was. The
allegation is that you manipulated the nominations; they were not fair.
No.
And you
grabbed
the ticket.
That was an allegation, because you know, if there was any wrongdoing, the party tribunal would have you know, come up with that, and even if you would doubt the party tribunal. This went to IABC, and IABC constituted a tribunal which looked at this particular matter.
But you are viewed as a staunch supporter of the president. President comes from Gatundu.
Yeah.
What should we expect? What else would you have expected?
Well, you'd have expected.
No,
so are you trying to say that the president is unfair?
No. That because of that association, nobody else would have got the ticket.
How? So what happened?
Kamere also comes from
exactly.
Gatundu. Both of them are in Gatundu.
But Kamere, unlike him, is not very close to the president.
How do you know?
Oh, okay. So the association is that you are closer to the president, and through the party
and he has been fighting for the president.
You got the nomination.
No. You know, these issues are mutually exclusive. My closeness to the president, my defending the president.
Are you in fact close to the president, or is just the appearance? Because I've heard Sakaja, the party chairman of TNA, saying, Moses Kuria does not hold any portfolio for us, so the association is forced or implied.
No, I'm a party member. I'm a founder of TNA. Yeah, and if I'm close to the president, I think also 40 million Kenyans are close to the president. He is their president. Yeah, so...
Did the president, have you talked to the president since the nominations, or in the course of that campaign for the ticket, did you have any interaction?
Well, I think I called him once to ask for his vote, just like I'm asking for votes from every other candidate.
Yes. All right. Let's say this.
No, basically, your perception, you are perceived as a cantankerous person. In fact, you have a court case, your communication has been virulent. Why do you want to be an MP?
I want to be an MP to represent my people and to bring development to them and to solve their problems.
What about that perception?
The perception is not mine. I don't perceive myself that way. So I think that question should be directed to the people who perceive. I can only tell you who I am. I am Moses Kuria, a well-meaning Kenyan who wants to do the best for his people. Yeah? And I've just got strong opinions about everything, including strong opinions about poverty and how to eradicate poverty. And if I'm elected to Parliament, which I believe I will, I'm going to demonstrate to my people of Gatundu South and to the people of Kenya that I am capable of actually making a serious attack on poverty and improving the lives of my people. So the same zeal that you find me tackling national issues is the same one I'm going to apply to help the people of Gatundu South.
You said you called the president to ask him for his vote.
Because he happens to be a registered voter in Gatundu South.
And what was the response?
Well. A lot of people tells me, when I've heard you, we are going to make our decision on 7th of August. Yes. I believe he's going to be one of them who's going to make his decision. Mine is to make a case and to ask for votes from everyone, from all the 58,000 registered voters in Gatundu South. I wouldn't discriminate against him and not ask him for his votes.
Yes. Okay, but have you sorted out the TNA grassroots politics? And clearly there was sufficient or considerable opposition to your being nominated to hold that ticket for a TNA in this race. Has the opposition within the TNA ranks fizzled out?
Within Gatundu?
Yes.
No, within Gatundu, the entire team that was opposed to my candidature during the nomination are my campaigners for this election. So we crossed ranks very quickly within TNA. Remember, we were 4 candidates who sought for nomination, and the other two of those candidates stepped down, and their supporters are actually, the bedrock of my campaign team. But because I consider to be incumbent upon myself to actually unify the party and bring people together.
Have you reached out to these elders who said, we don't want Moses to be our member of parliament? He's okay out there fighting code, and you remember that report that came out in the newspaper. They said, really, we don't mind Kuria, he's fine, but we prefer him doing what he's doing out there. We need somebody else for member of parliament. How did that arise, and what has become of it?
There were like 60 elders in that particular meeting, and I have got so many other elders who support me to be their member of parliament. So that's normal. It's fair game, really.
Yeah, other elders did not find it necessary to come out and say something.
In our culture, elders don't speak like that. Eh? Elders have got the means of communication. Don't go. It's not within.
What are you suggesting? Those are not elders.
No, the elders. I'm saying the elders, but I'm saying the bulk of the elders. They have got their own ways of communicating. The bulk of the elders are with you. Yes, and they have got their own way of communicating. They don't. In the old days, we didn't have TV and press conferences and media. So how are they communicating? How are they expressing support? 100 years ago, there were no press conferences. So how do you think they're communicating? Or you think that they didn't have a mechanism of communicating community decisions to the community? So that's the elders who support me.
This is 2014. There are modern means of communication to be used by even elders or young men.
Oh yes, we'll get there sometimes, Muteginjao. We'll get there, but give us time to evolve. You don't expect that. We have got, for example, some boozies, which elders, ceremonies. You expect them to be digital overnight? No, it can't happen like that. So elders have got. I don't know if you know, by Kikuyu customs, elders cannot even clap. It is not allowed for them to clap because they're supposed to be calm, muted, and very contained, and they have got their own mechanisms of letting out known their positions or their views.
Yes. Yeah. You say that you spoke to the president, but the circumstances are such that I don't think the president will come to campaign for you.
No, I didn't ask him for him to campaign. I asked him for a vote.
Yes, but he would not ordinarily go to campaign or visit an area where there's an election to root for the candidate of his party. He was in Mathare last week.
Mathare is a different ballgame, David. Yeah? Mathare, the CORD has got a candidate there. And in Gatundu South, even if the party of Mr. Kamel is not in a mainstream Jubilee, it is still not hostile to Jubilee.
So this is a house gig. It's a house
it's an in-house matter,
in-house
which
matter.
we'll sort out. on the ballot. It's not, it does not warrant the president to leave his otherwise, national duties to come and campaign in Gatundu South.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no court candidate, as it were.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Gatundu is been since independence. Been presided over the members of parliament were two presidents. And then Mungai was an assistant minister for finance. I'm shocked to hear you talk about poverty.
Well, Gatundu is part of Kenya. And I think there's poverty in America, there's poverty in Japan, there's poverty in China, there's poverty everywhere.
What level?
Yeah, yeah. So we have not discussed the levels. I'm saying the problems of Gatundu and the problems of Chuka, where you come from, are not different. Yeah, we
never had a president as a member of parliament.
But the president was not the president for Gatundu. He was the president of the Republic of Kenya.
You remember the Gatundu self-help hospital?
Yes. I was born there.
What is the status of that hospital now?
Well, I mean, you need to take a walk there. We are doing a lot of improvement in that particular hospital. There's a new wing that is being built by the Chinese, and a lot of modernization, happening there. I mean, it's not easy to be president of this country. If you develop your area disproportionately, then people accuse you of favoring that particular area. If you develop the entire country equally, people accuse you of, that you did particular area. So I do not perceive that the problems of Gatundu are more insurmountable than the problem of Bungoma, for example. It's just that, in this country we still have to continue fighting to improve the lives of our people, to continue fighting poverty, to continue fighting disease, and to continue ensuring that we provide our children with quality education. That applies to Gatundu as it applies to Kisumu.
So what are the issues that are going to be at the core, at the center of this election, that are going to decide this election between you and Kamere, who has not arrived yet?
I think this election is going to be determined by the model of leadership, by the vision of leadership. I have the view, my vision or my model of development is actually about marshalling the resources, whether from national government, now from devolved governments, and from the CDF and from the constituency. The other candidate is of more personalized efforts towards development. So it's just really the path towards development. Is it personal? Is it the charitable path, or is it actually governmental? And my mindset is government.
It's government.
Yeah.
It's not personal charity.
It's not personal charity. It's government.
So people of Gatundu are should not expect goodies and handouts from Moses Kuria.
No. People of Gatundu should expect that Moses Kuria is going to marshal them together towards development and to actually bring government close to them and to ensure to fight for their share of national resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say
you have to bring them closer to the government. They're in government.
No, the government to them, to actually bring. Let me tell you something. You have to lobby for development. Okay.
Yes.
You have to. They are competing interests. We don't have unlimited resources as a country.
Yeah.
So everyone should use their tactics, their techniques to ensure that as much resources are directed to the constituency.
In your view, what are the two major challenges facing the constituency?
I think number one is education. We have a huge problem of education standards have really gone down, and I'm going to make it the hallmark of my leadership to ensure that that we approve education standards in Gatundu. And like every other constituency in Kenya nowadays, we have got a huge problem with youth unemployment. Yeah? Let me not call it unemployment in terms of getting jobs, but actually youth being engaged in productive, economic activities.
Yeah.
And that comes, we have to use two mechanisms for that. One, you've got to fight it from a perception perspective. You've got to convince the youth that it's not that you have to get some job somewhere. When we have got police recruitment or army recruitment or NYS, and then the youth, there's all that, expectation that, you can be able to get, so you can't get everyone there, much as you might try. So the issue is helping the youth, to be engaged, economically. Two things that I plan to do on that. First is using the devolved funds from, all the decentralized funds, like the UESO fund, for example, for like the youth fund, helping this youth to form groups and to actually do what they say they are going to do with the money. I plan to actually employ someone under the CDF whose job is to do nothing but to hold the youth for these groups, because what I've discovered is, much as we give this money, we don't offer guidance to these groups. So these are youths who have no work experience before, they don't have management experience, and we expect them to take up these funds and start doing productive work with them without guidance. So I want to use my CDF to ensure that I get somebody out there who can be able to guide the youth in terms of how to take advantage of these funds, and most importantly, after they get the funds, how to utilize them. The other thing, of course, for me is irrigation. Or getting water, not just for drinking or for domestic consumption, but also for irrigation. And I'm actually discussing with. I was down there with the Minister for Agriculture a week ago, and we really discussing some serious strategy on how we're gonna get funds, to help our youth to engage in farming, because from Nairobi to Gatundu is no more than 1 hour. Yeah, it is, and we have got Thika Road now, which is, thank God, it's made communication much faster. So if we can be able to, I want to launch a project called Feed Nairobi, where 20% of the food in your fridge
that's too much.
is from Gatundu.
How about the other areas, Kajiado and Machakos?
Sasa
Want to
unajua,
take 20%? It's too
sasa
much. That's a constituency.
hao watajisort. Sasa sisi, we want to ensure that 20% of the food that's consumed in this Nairobi comes from Gatundu, if only for proximity. Yeah, and if only for the fact that we've got arable land out there.
You have to be an MP to do that.
Yeah,
you have to be an MP to do that.
You don't have to be an MP to do that, but being an MP puts you in a position where you can be able to galvanize the people. So it comes with added advantage to be an MP, because you have got an official mandate that you can be able to use to galvanize the people. Yeah. And of course, being an MP, that's your workstation. Yeah, my workstation would be Gatundu.
The accusation always, people like you and I, when we run, you'll be told that you don't live in Gatundu. You are in Nairobi, and that has been coming forth. Gatundu, this man is a Nairobian. How connected are you to Gatundu, really?
Well, of course, I was
Apart
born
from being born there,
I was
or maybe
born
having
there. I went to school there. And I visit there all the time. But if I had my way, I would be living in Gatundu and working there. I'm just an economic refugee in Nairobi. If I had my way, I would.
There are no opportunities in Gatundu sufficient, as you say. There are not sufficient opportunities.
Well, at the point where I started working in Nairobi, some 20-odd years, there were no sufficient opportunities in Gatundu. Yeah. Hopefully now, I'll be able to create an environment whereby the Moses Kuria of tomorrow does not have to leave to go and work in Nairobi. And that's what I intend to do.
You seem to suggest that Gatundu, for people who haven't been there, is just like any other part of this country, with all the problems that they face: bad roads, poor education, access, and water, all these things. And I had Martha Karua 2 weeks ago at a function I attended saying that we want to know what poverty is, go to Gatundu or go to Baringo, places which have produced the presidents of this country. Would you say Gatundu is in that shape, bad shape, as other parts of this country, really?
I don't know. We have got Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. The middle name of Kenya National Bureau of Statistics is not Martha Karua. Yeah? KNBS is the one which gives index for poverty in this country.
Yes.
Which index is used for determining CDF.
Yeah.
Which index is used for determining, for example, the equalization fund, from the. So why can't we use official statistics and official data? Why are we always obsessed with people like Martha Karua when we have got our own set of data?
Mother's observations.
Yeah.
Where do you rank Gatundu?
No, Gatundu is in the middle range of if you take all the 290 constituencies, it's in the middle range. It's not badly off, and it's not. We can't say it is like, for example, an Nairobi constituency in terms of GDP. Yeah, but Mother Karua has been running this card for some time in her endeavor to discredit President Kenyatta. But I think official statistics paint a completely different picture. You know, for the 10 years that the president was member of parliament, we got more roads, both in terms of tarmac and non-tarmac roads, than we ever did, for all the other years since independence. We got more water connecting to almost, I think now it's in the region of 84% of Gatundu people have got access to water, 84%, which is very high. We've got now the Gatundu Hospital, a modernization, coming up. We have got 96% access to electricity. So which other indices of poverty do you use?
Exactly. So then you are representing a 5-star.
No, I'm presenting
a 5-star.
My people still have challenges.
Yes.
My people, in terms of the hardware
Yes.
of development, the president did amazing job, in terms of that,
Yes.
in terms of roads, in terms of electricity, in terms of water. Now, what I want to do is to complement that by looking at the software part of it,
Yes.
in terms of the people, the human part of it, the
Yes.
human capital part of it, in terms of the youth, in terms of jobs, in terms of the government can only do so much for people. Beyond that, you can't keep on saying Serikali's idea.
Yes.
Yeah? So I want to complete that bit by galvanizing the people and preparing, because what is the use of a road if the people can't use it to make productive economic activities? That's what I really want to compare to.
You mentioned education as one of the challenges there.
Yeah.
And there used to be good schools like Moho School.
Yes, precisely.
And you said it's a decline.
Yeah, precisely.
The reason?
I think it's a mixture of reasons, starting from the value associated with education by society,
Yes.
the seriousness of it, and I think you are spot on there. We have got what I would call our Ivy League of schools in Gatundu. We used to have a school called Moho High School, as you know, very well known, a school called Mururia, a school called Ituru, where I attended. And these schools were doing very well. I mean, we were always, when I was doing my Form 4, we were always on top 100 nationally. I think also the economic problems of the 90s, have really, helped, on that particular decline. And I cannot pretend to have a panacea for that, but I'm going to ensure that all our schools, both the schools that are doing very well and the other schools that are on the second tier, that we get back education to where it was before.
There are people who believe that you are too rough and you have rough edges for leadership, that you're still too activist, that you are, and your profile of speeches is not for cohesion, that you're a headmonger, you've been charged with a head speech, that you're confrontational. Like that the other day you went to Uhuru Park to book a rally for a venue which had been reserved for called Sabasaba, and that disposition makes you unsuitable to seek public office.
If I was seeking to be...
Are you going to tone down?
No,
or are you going to persist?
I would agree
struggle?
that I'm not suited for leadership if I'm seeking for a position in CORD. Yeah, if I'm seeking to be, for example, the chairman of CORD or the secretary general of ODM, no, I don't fit that bill. I'm not suited for leadership. That is the standard. And here is...
Why so?
No, because they are the ones who have a problem with me, and I'm not here to grant them charity. I'm from TNA.
Yes, but TNA does not, being in TNA does not mean confrontation or...
here is a problem, and I think I told you this the other time.
And that statement alone brings out the hostile attitude to the other parties. Wait a minute.
If I had we play by the rules developed by other people.
Yes.
This script is written by CORD. CORD, people like Mudama, people like Karware, people like, I don't know, Wetangula, all those guys, they believe that they should go out there peddling falsehoods, painting the other side as in everything bad, which is really their legitimate duty as an opposition. But what they don't expect is somebody to counter them. They think somebody, we should be a choir saying, oh, he's a Rikari Ukabira, then we clap. No. I take it upon my religious duty, actually, to counter them. That's a problem.
Yes.
If that qualifies me as a hate monger,
Yes.
so be it.
Tell us about that Uhuru Park thing.
What was it?
What was the rationale?
What was the rationale for you trying to hold a rally when they
No,
had
we're not having a
proclaimed
rally.
war?
We are having a meeting, which we had booked.
Yes.
For some youth?
We had booked
what was
for a youth group. Huh?
Well, you had booked from who?
From the county government of
The
Nairobi.
reports were saying you booked from the city council.
No, you know,
The documents of the
I found it odd that members of the further state, you know, we give them a receipt which was from a system called IFMIS, the official government system. I find it odd nobody went there and said, please key in for me this reference number. Was this money paid? You know, it's for me. I consider myself, because of my writings and
The
all
money
that.
was paid.
Yes.
But there was a receipt was produced that said this
So
was
why didn't
all
you-
receipts of the city council,
Why
not the
didn't
county
you? Why
government.
didn't you, as media? And I really challenged the media that time. It was hard for me
Yes.
how investigative journalism has sunk low in
Yes.
this country. That no single journalist, and I kept asking, no single journalist took this receipt, went to City Hall. This is what I would have done if I was in the media house.
So what happened?
Went to-
you went
to
and
City Hall.
paid
Yeah, I went
at
and
City
paid.
Hall
Yeah.
and got an old receipt.
Well,
Not the county.
they have not upgraded their systems in terms of in terms of the receipts being produced. It's not my fault if
Okay,
they do
you
that.
paid.
And you know, and then you make that to be me and Honorable Tito. You made it to be our responsibility. The burden of proof was on us.
But if you are
Instead
going
of going to Kidero,
Didn't you see the ridiculousness of your action?
how ridiculous was it? Mutegi?
The place was very well known, booked many.
No, but you know, well known is because the other guys book and shout. As we booked and kept quiet,
But why did you go
and we
there?
booked
Okay, so
before
why
them.
didn't you then do your
Why do
rally?
you expect? Why
All
do you
right.
expect us to?
Moses, listen. Why
Oh
didn't you
my,
do the
come on.
rally the next day after it
meeting.
was cancelled? Why
Yeah.
did your meeting go ahead?
Because the meeting was supposed to be an anniversary of the launch of the movement. It was not on the day after.
Which
it's like
movement?
today is the anniversary of the
Which
19
movement?
the whatever the youth movement. Yeah.
Yes.
And today, for example, is the anniversary of the coup. If some of those people who led the coup in 1982,
Yes.
if they want to hold a meeting today to celebrate the coup, and you know them very well, so if tomorrow, if they don't hold
I don't know
a
them.
meeting,
They
well,
were
they are well known in this
executed.
country. No, they are well known in this country. Some of them, the real masters, are still going here, asking for mass action and asking for referendums and all that. You know them. They are still there. Today is the 1st of August. Yeah. Is it 22nd anniversary
Yes.
of
Yes.
their coup? If they don't hold their meeting today to celebrate their actions then and the people who died on that day today, they can't hold it tomorrow. It will be ridiculous, and that's exactly what happened that time.
That's what happened with your anniversary.
Yeah, because if you don't do it on the 7th of
Okay,
July.
you went to
Why could you not change the venue?
Well, why would you have to change the venue? We just booked the Uhuru Park because it's a historic venue.
when you-
And then we said, wait a minute. I mean, let's not give these people any excuse. Of when the the Saba was a flop. We had been promised that it would be the apocalypse. It didn't happen. Yeah. So if it could have not happened and we had our rally, maybe they could have said it's Moses Kuria and his team who made it flop. So I think it's good the way we just backed off as
If you are
civilized people.
genuine, my concern is this: if you are genuine,
Yeah.
you wanted to commemorate something.
Yeah, but in
And
Uhuru
could
Park,
not-
why would
not
you
do it
change?
in Uhuru Park? You could have gone to.
Why would you
Why
change
would
a
you
go
little?
to City Hall? What's
No.
the matter, please?
Out of principle, no, because we are the ones who had booked Uhuru Park on that particular day.
How had
So,
you booked?
see-
Or why were you not given if you had indeed booked? With who? When the authorities
but
said
if we
actually
had-
the people who reserved Uhuru
No,
Park
no, no.
are
If we
this,
had insisted,
and these guys are
if we had
just from
insisted, and
routers.
we even wanted to, we are even contemplating going to court. If we had insisted, that venue would have been given to us because all the proof were there. But we said, let's not help sinking people sink. Let's give them the chance to sink. So that when they do sink, there will be no doubt whatsoever that actually that it was just hot air. Saba was just hot air.
In
So-
your view, that is.
Yes.
Okay, so you are on the way to Parliament. Do you people? A lot of people writing in say, this man is a tribalist. This man They are the kind of people we don't need. He's going to take his divisive politics to parliament.
Where are they rating?
Even somebody from Gatundu
Where?
here.
On which
quote
platform?
you. I can even quote you
Is it on Twitter?
You know.
On Twitter?
This is SMSs coming in
okay.
on 422-422. In fact, this is somebody from your own Gatundu says, Moses Kuria is not a good guy. He has too much hate and arrogance. People like him are the reason people hate each other. Peter Muhoho, Gatundu.
Well, that's his view. We have got
so I'm saying,
60,000 voters in that particular area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that people accuse you of being abusive. You know, even somebody says, you know, can you ask Kuria the time he has going around using abusive language? He is not fit to lead people of Gatundu with his attitude. So there is a bit of concern about your disposition, your approach.
All I'm saying,
cantankerous, you're a rabble rouser.
All I'm saying is that if there's peace in this country, if there's decency in this country, if everybody gets civilized, that's what we'll give them. If people take it upon themselves to continuously discredit the government, to continuously undermine the government, to continuously incite the people, listen, and I counter them, if I become cantankerous for them, then so be it.
The people with that view are not in court or in ODM. They are in Gatundu. They are TNA.
No, have you ever seen me arguing or shouting with anyone from Gatundu or from anywhere else? I counter court people, and they go on giving this impression that I'm cantankerous because I counter them. I'm going to do, actually, let me tell you something. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. I am not going to change my style in parliament.
You're not going to change?
Yes. If they're hoping for that,
yes.
Sorry. Polisana.
How are you conducting your campaign?
I'm conducting my campaign by going to talk to the people and convincing them about my agenda.
Describe how we do it.
No, I hold meetings. I hold meetings.
Now, you have public rallies where you address people with
well, not public rallies to this extent, to the massive, but you know, within the village setup, we call all the men and the women and the children, and we share with them our vision and our agenda. And most important is not just sharing the vision, but we also give them a chance to communicate their expectations about the next MP. So it's been very, very good, very enjoyable, really. Yeah, it's been very enjoyable.
Somebody would say that since you're going to represent constituency 1, you know, the president is going to be a member, your constituent.
Yeah.
That they would expect to see more moderation, more accommodation.
Yes, I'm going to be moderate. I'm going to be accommodate people.
That is not what you're displaying. No, and then secondly, the fact that you say you are close to the president, or not close, but you talk to him. To what extent is your stand or your proclamations reflective of what the president thinks? Has he told you that's fine, or has he told you no, go slow? Do you engage in these conversations at all with him?
You know, David,
yes.
Even before I ran for parliament, even when I was campaigning for TNA, even when I was doing some work for PNU, and I have never claimed to speak for the president. Okay, and I've never spoken on his behalf. We share views.
But you know, when you're here and you're wearing this shirt, which looks very nice, and somebody in Malindi says, where can he get a shirt like this? That is TNA colors. Yeah. Your speech is TNA, is colored, is branded.
Yes, exactly, because I'm a member of the party, just like the president is a member of the party.
Yes.
But the president does not have an official position within the party.
Right.
He's not even the party leader. Yeah, he's a member of the party, and he respects the party institution, mechanisms, structures, processes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a member of the TNA just as he is a member of TNA. Why are you not accusing of speaking for Johnson Sakaja? Or who is the chairman?
All right. We must come to an end. But maybe your last word before...
well, I want to... Which is my camera?
Yes.
That's one.
Yes. Yeah, you can tell your people Gatundu.
Please vote for me. I am going to work tirelessly, day and night, to deliver development to you. And I'm going to ensure that the government which you elected remains stable so that it can continue serving us and bring us more development.
All right. Thank you so much. Lest we are accused of giving Moses Kuria an opportunity to campaign for himself. That is not the case. We invited Moses Kuria, who is running for the Gatundu South Member of Parliament seat. On elections are next Thursday on 7th. And we also invited his opponent, Joachim Kamere, to be here. We hope to have a nice debate about Gatundu and both of them to articulate their visions. Joachim Kamere has not shown up, and that is unfortunate for him. I hope that this conversation was useful for the people of Gatundu. Have a good by-election, and thank you for watching this interview.